Hey, I'm Herald sports writer Manny Navarro. This is Andre C. Fernandez, and we're back with the Gridiron Report. 15 Westminster Christian, right down the road from here, Dre. These guys made it to the state semifinals last year. Talk about Timmy Irvin and the guys that are coming back for that.
Well, I mean, this is their last chance, really, for the guys like Irvin, Jordan Cronkite, Elbry Gator. You know, the core group that's been together for a few years down there. They know this is their last chance. Then again, they know it's probably going to end up being the same road because it's a tiny district. It's just them and Champagnat. They're already in the playoffs, being two teams. And, you know, they could run into a Pahokee, Delray Heritage. That region is one of the toughest. It may be one of the smallest classes in the state, but it's also one of the toughest regions in the state. And then, of course, you got Jacksonville Trinity Christian. But you know Cedric Irvin's not looking anywhere close to that right now. He's focusing on each game right now to get this team ready. And they have the talent to maybe put together another Final Four run, I think.
Checking in at number 14, Andre's alma mater, the Champagnat Catholic Lions. Champagnat won the state title last season, went undefeated, but Dre, it's going to be really hard for Mike Tunsil and his team to do that this year. It's a heck of a schedule.
Yeah, I mean, they may take away my honorary status by saying this, but I don't. If they go undefeated this year, they'll have earned it because, I mean, the team I just mentioned, Trinity Christian, is on the schedule. You look at, right off the bat, I mean, this one's not going to count, but they're going to face Coral Gables in the preseason classic. I mean, you talk about just, they have ramped up the schedule right now, and I don't see them going undefeated, but in Class 2A, again, small classification, this is a team that's got 8A to 6A caliber talent by far. I mean, you look at over, double digits in D1 recruits on that squad right now. I can't see them not repeating in 2A, though.
All right, number 13, the team right here, the Gulliver Prep Raiders. Probably the best team that Coach Earl Sims has had since they made it to the state championship team in 2008. Got a linebacker who's headed to Wisconsin. Got Deontay Mullins on the offensive side. That's a tremendous playmaker. There's so many guys I think that can make plays. The problem is, will they have enough to beat Booker T?
They don't need to be reminded over and over that orange and black clad team is in their district. But beyond that, this is probably the best Raider team. You're right. I mean, talent all across the board. I mean, last year they had one of the best secondaries around. They're going to have it again this year, and I expect them to be even better on offense. This is the type of team that could put together some sort of maybe like an 8-2 record. And unfortunately, then comes the roadblock that is the Tornadoes. But aside from that, they're going to be an exciting team to watch all season.
Right down the road from here as well, Killian Cougars. They're checking in at number 12. You talk about Corey Johnson's team. Jaquan Johnson, finally a senior. He's been all Dade 3 times already. He's going for number 4 this year. Jaquan, tremendous athlete, a guy who's deciding between Miami, Florida State, Alabama, LSU. They're also in the mix. Louisville. The Killian's team, I mean, they beat South Dade in the regular season last year, but then they lost them in the playoffs, and so...
Right. They were the district champs, and honestly, they were within... I mean, you watched that game. It was bad weather, crazy conditions at Tropical Park, and still only lost by a touchdown. South Dade with a late score. They feel they were right there. They're one of those teams in 8A that is on the cusp if things break the right way, if the team, most importantly, gels together, which is what Corey Johnson told you this week. I think they can make a run because it's not just Jaquan Johnson. They've got other playmakers there, Sheldrick Redwine, Bruce Davis on defense. Those guys can put it all together, and we know Corey gets the best out of all these kids. Sometimes it's like a no-name squad, but you see them, they show up, and they're just battle-tested by the time they get to November.
Checking in at number 11, the Columbus Explorers, Chris Merritt's team. They're always here in the top 20 for us. Number 10, Hallandale. This is a team that, Dre, they came out of the floodgates last and went 8-0 and then lost, I think, their last 2 games or 2 out of the last 3 games.
Yeah, the ones they couldn't afford to lose is the ones they lost. And this year it's going to be the same situation. I mean, you look, that district got better because now Coconut Creek is good. But Boynton Beach has probably the best quarterback in the state. Dillard is always going to be there, like we said. So it's not going to matter if they're 6-0 going into those games. What's going to matter is those 2 or 3 clashes down at the end when they face Boynton Beach and Dillard and Coconut Creek. If they win those 3, that's their whole season.
Number 9, Carroll City. We interviewed these guys. There's a lot of excitement about Carroll City football. You thought when they lost Trayon Gray, graduated, now he's at the University of Miami doing some special things as a true freshman. You thought, okay, maybe Carroll City takes a step back, but Aubrey Hill looks like he's reloaded.
Yeah, he has. In one word, buckshot. I'm looking forward to seeing him play quarterback this season. That kid seems like he's got a special kind of talent, rifle arm. In the spring, he looked good. And, again, similar situation to these guys here at Gulliver. Obviously, they're going to have a big obstacle in Central in their division. But I think it's a playoff team that can make some noise, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
Number 8, Monarch. This is a team on the rise. We talk about their 2 superstars, both headed to Alabama. Dre, does this team have enough, you think, to beat Miramar get through that road in Broward County?
Arguably, yes. I mean, people are going to pick Miramar. I'm sure, obviously we're ranking them ahead for right now because on paper they look good. But Monarch, remember last year Monarch for a half was hanging tough with them. And this is last year's Monarch team, the one that didn't have as much experience as this season. And they're hungry. I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, 8A's wide open. They're definitely right in the mix.
All right, number 7, Flanagan Falcons. One of my favorite teams to go out and watch just because of those lime green uniforms. This is probably the loudest uniforms I've seen.
Yeah.
They showed us what they
No
look like
doubt.
at Sun Life Stadium a couple of weeks ago when we had high school media day. Do you think they've got enough? Do you think Devin Bush has enough this year to make a run?
The uniforms aren't the only thing loud. I think Flanagan's developed some swagger now. They're not afraid to talk, to bring it. But obviously, I think, again, we bring up Miramar. That's the team they haven't been able to get past. Can they get past that obstacle finally, the mind game when they see the helmet? Can they beat this team? If they do, it could be a state championship caliber team. They're one of those teams that could be this year's South Dade.
All right, number 6, Coral Gables Cavaliers. They played South Dade awfully tough in the rain in that state semifinal game. I think the final score was 6-0, right?
Yeah, rain throughout the whole playoffs, it seemed.
This Coral Gables team, this might be the story of the year, to be honest. They haven't won a state championship since Nick Cody's was around.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. We know Nick passed away a couple of years ago, but this Gables team, tremendous job done there by the coaching staff.
Oh, tremendous. I mean, if you look at where they were 3-4 years ago to what they are now, it's still sometimes like you look and you go, wow, Gables is that good now. I mean, you look at their defense, just nasty, playmakers left and right. The quarterback position, they have someone new this year they're going to have to develop, but you look at that running game. Keno Mike, I mean, even in that running game, you think, oh, Greg Howell graduated. They got 2 guys right there to replace him in Amir Rasul and Keno Mike, and the offensive line is stout. I mean, the battles are going to be there between them and Columbus within the district. Killian's there. South Dade will probably still be in the mix too, but you're right. Gables definitely has all the pieces in place to make a special run this year.